Bitcoin keeps on dropping. I'm gonna talk about why I think Bitcoin is gonna make a new monthly low before getting the best long and spot buying opportunity on Bitcoin, and why I think also Ethereum is still gonna make a new all-time high. Let me update you on what we made throughout the last 24 hours. As you can see, this is the current TA we've got for Bitcoin. I'm still thinking and expecting a new low would be put before taking any long on Bitcoin. As you can see, basically what happened previously, why we're seeing this huge drop from Bitcoin is basically because we took huge liquidity, as you can see. And as I've explained in my previous couple of videos, I've been making daily content right now, guys. And also, as I told you, I've got an established Arabic channel. However, I'm starting this channel brand new just to push content in English. So if you want to support me, make sure to press the like button. And now let's get right into the TA. As I was saying, as I've told you before and previously, why I think Bitcoin is dropping very heavily right now, and why this time is different from the drop we had I think on the beginning of the month. As you can see, that was the first drop. As I've told you from my previous video, if you go to the daily time frame, I'm just repeating whatever I said on my previous video. On the daily time frame and also on the 4-hourly time frame, we can see that Bitcoin, when it was dropping on the beginning of August using the volume profile, once we broken out of $100,000, as you can see, till the previous price action till the beginning of the month of August, we can see that we had a huge gap in volume. We had a huge gap between 110 and 118k in volume. Literally there was zero or close to zero volume actually between these levels. So I told you guys, whatever goes up from 110 to 118 can go actually as quickly going down, as you can see. So but what makes this drop actually different from what we had on the previous or in the beginning of the month, as you can see, as I told you previously, we had huge liquidity resting at the top of the all-time high. We made a new all-time high at that time on the $23,000 mark, and then we made huge liquidity, literally the best looking liquidity. That's why I had a huge expectation. It's literally 90% I said that we're going up to make a new all-time high before dropping even further. So I didn't look at this drop as anything major, anything to be honest, to be alert with. However, once we took liquidity, as you can see, once Bitcoin gave us a random strong rise, I think the low was put on the 3rd of August. Once we made this low and we started rising very quickly, that was basically a liquidity grab run. As you can see, we basically made a fake new all-time high, created a huge resting liquidity, a huge short liquidity, and then we made or faked out the low, reclaimed the value area low of this range volume profile. As you can see, I'm technically using volume profiles and liquidity all the time, and I think that's the best way to read the market. So once we reclaimed the value area low of the previous range, as you can see, we took liquidity, made a real all-time high. And the reason why I'm calling it real, basically because we have less liquidity and we had a stronger drop. As you can see, let me explain to you why this current all-time high is much stronger than what we had on the 14th of July. As you can see, even without any TA or even without any drawings, we can clearly see how on the previous all-time high we made a smaller high, and then we started literally dropping a bit by bit, and we had huge liquidity on the top. People were literally had the opportunity to short any time blindly for literally a couple of weeks. If we count the time, I think we made a new all-time high on the 14th, and then we literally gave a huge opportunity to every single one and their mothers to get into random shorts, even blind shorts. And then as you can see, we saw the huge drop. Once we see this, technically there's a huge probability of getting back up to it, liquidating the random shorts that were taken into a bad spot, and then giving us the actual drop. So technically this is a better, much nicer all-time high, because as you can see, if you remove the volume profile, if we just remove also this volume profile, if you just look at the candles, we can see that the previous time we had on a new all-time high, then a huge resting liquidity, a fake out to the low, reclaiming the value area low, and then showing some strength to take out this high, as you can see. But however, if you take a closer look on what makes the second current all-time high different, as you can see, we literally we've had and we're still having a huge drop from at that time. We never saw liquidity being claimed or being rested very close to the all-time high. So this is why I'm still thinking we're still gonna drop even further. I've been saying this, guys, by the way, since I took a short on the $118,000 level. As you can see, the reason I took the short back, I think 4 days ago, because we saw Bitcoin lose this huge volume area. As you can see, even if I take the volume profile back to the 100k level, as you can see, we can clearly clearly see how that level was very crucial, and that was actually the decisive factor for me looking into shorts and flipping bearish. I got to understand that yes, we took liquidity, however we haven't yet lost this major volume area, but however once we lost it, made it or flipped it from support into resistance, I actually took a short on both Bitcoin and Ethereum and I started to flip bearish. So technically I'm not just a random person on YouTube that's saying I'm right now bearish literally at the lows. I'm not saying we should now short Bitcoin. I have a short open from 118k. I shorted Ethereum at I think $4,500. So I'm not literally, or don't take my thumbnail and title as me telling you right now to short. Don't take me saying that currently Bitcoin is bearish and I'm still expecting lower to come as a sign for you to short. Remember that you should be only shorting once Bitcoin is going high. Once every beginner is looking for a long or an opportunity to buy, you should always sell, and whenever Bitcoin is literally dropping, you should be on the lookout for a new long. So I'm still holding my 118k short, but right now, although I'm still bearish, although I'm still expecting a new monthly low to be put, definitely I'm not gonna be shorting Bitcoin right now because it can randomly bump 5% or even 10% right now. However, let me give you the idea of where best to long Bitcoin. As I've said, or let me go to the 1 hourly time frame. As I've said, I'm expecting Bitcoin to break 111.8k, which is the monthly low we put on the 3rd of August. Technically, this is the level I'm still expecting to lose. The closest support after doing that, after SFPing and taking liquidity under this level, I would love for Bitcoin to hit 111 to 108, 107. I think that could be actually the best opportunity to buy. However, I couldn't actually tell you which level we're gonna bounce at. Technically, what I'm about to do is basically put an alert, as you can see, on us breaking the monthly low, and then I'm gonna be closely watching the reaction. I'm especially gonna use an app, as you can see here, an app called ExoCharts, which shows me the order flow once we hit or make a new monthly low. Once we break 111, I'm gonna be closely monitoring the order flow. If I think Bitcoin is giving us some strength, it's showing some strength, it's reclaiming the old monthly low, which is the current monthly low, then I might look into a trade. However, technically the best long idea or the best place to buy Bitcoin is actually a further drop to 110 based on the idea of using the volume profile tool. We can actually divide Bitcoin. I don't want to get too advanced or make it too complicated right now, but basically we can actually split Bitcoin into two squares, two areas of ranges. We have this yellow one, and then we also have this one, as you can see. So technically, by this idea, if we use the volume profile from the beginning or from the previous rectangle, previous range we had, once we've broken 100k till or before breaking 110, you can see that we've got this volume profile value area. As you can see, this is the most important value area which Bitcoin technically should bounce from before giving us a huge increase in price. As you can see, technically, if Bitcoin is going to continue into its bullish rise, technically we're still looking Bitcoin to make new all-time highs, maybe with 125, 130. So I don't think Bitcoin is going to drop much harder than losing this previous value area high, as you can see. So maybe my guess is Bitcoin, the best area to buy Bitcoin right now is from breaking the monthly low, then monitoring closely. It's either we hit 111, bounce greatly above 112, then I might take a long, or the best could be actually waiting for a much lower drop, hit the 110 to 107, especially because we have this anchored view up. This is basically a tool that shows us if the uptrend is still intact or not. As you can see, this is an uptrend taking from literally the start of the bullish rise from I think the 9th or 7th of April. As you can see, we've actually bounced from it once we've broken 100k. This gave us actually the low of I think 23rd of June. So this actually could be the best long trade to have. However, I couldn't actually tell you which area exactly Bitcoin is gonna bounce from, as you can see. So my best guess is just to have alert at 111 and then closely monitor the Bitcoin price. Either we break the monthly low, hit 111, and then reclaim 112 for a small could be an actual nice long. Maybe we can take it up to 123, or if Bitcoin gets a bit more bearish, then we can actually wait for this best zone to buy Bitcoin at from 110 and 111, and that takes us actually to Ethereum. As I've told you yesterday, I bought Ethereum at $4,100 because, as I've explained in my previous video, we had this huge liquidity under resting under, I think, 4100.8. We took liquidity, hit this major resistance flip support flip zone, as you can see. So technically I'm still expecting higher to come on Ethereum. However, as I've said, because Bitcoin could actually drop even further, it could either drop 1% or at a maximum of 5% based on my guesses. Hence why Ethereum could actually be dragged down by Bitcoin, maybe lose 5% or 10%. If this isn't the low on Ethereum, I'm still ready to buy Ethereum, however and how long it takes to before it takes to make a new all-time high. As I've told you, I'm still expecting a new all-time high on Ethereum. I'm still super bullish on Ethereum, although Bitcoin is being a bit bearish, is dropping the price down. I'm still waiting for a new all-time high before selling any single tokens of my Ethereum. If it drops even further, then I'm gonna luckily and happily buy Ethereum either at just below $4,000 or at $3,800. As you can see, we got the NPUC again, and the previous value area high, a major support resistance flip. And actually we can also see how this wave 4 could actually drop even further before giving us the nice rise. However, I'm still expecting either wave 4 is already put in, or we get a better actually discount on Ethereum. Either way, I'm still expecting wave 5 to be put in just above the new all-time highs. I'm super bullish on Ethereum. Once Bitcoin finds its supports finally, we can expect selling Ethereum at the best price. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'm going to share why I might sell Ethereum once it gets above $5,000. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell.